Good morning and welcome to our first installation of the plant-based cooking class with Chef Kim. Good morning, Chef Kim. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. We've been waiting for you, and I'm so glad you're with us. When we sat down for the pandemic, one of the things that people enjoyed most was our cooking classes, and we decided to continue our healthy living pieces at home. But we want folks to remember that AARP is out here advocating on your behalf, and we want to make sure that you're staying healthy during the pandemic. So Chef Kim, tell us what we're doing this morning.
So, in the transitioning to a healthy lifestyle, a lot of people miss dairy. So, we have three examples of how you can still get the cheese, the creamy flavor that you like.
Oh, well, it sounds good. So I'm going to step back into the background and let you just take over and guide our audience through how we can go through our plant-based cooking and enjoy these creamy treats that we might miss.
Awesome. So, today, the first thing that we're going to make is a garlic cashew cream. And this is something that you can drizzle over tacos, which we'll have today, any kind of Mexican treat that you may have, or just when you want a little creaminess to something. You could even use it as a salad dressing, doctor it up, add some herbs and spices. But I'm going to show you how to utilize that a couple of different ways. So what you get is a really good blender, and I have a Vitamix here. And to the Vitamix, I'm going to add some cashews. These are raw cashews. They're different than the roasted and salted cashews. They're just raw. Then to that, we're going to add just a little bit of water, and I'm going to reserve some in here to add some more in as we need it. I'm going to add in 2 cloves of garlic, and I love garlic. It's something you will learn about me. And if a recipe says, add 4 cloves of garlic, I'm probably going to add 8. So we're doing that. And then we're going to add a little bit of sea salt. This is Celtic sea salt, but you can also use Himalayan sea salt. You just don't want to add too much, because we're also going to have a little lemon juice in our other recipe. And you can add some granulated garlic or something if that's too much, not enough. Add a little bit more water to this. Check it in stages. It's really, really simple and quick and easy to do. All right. It's a little thicker than I want. So I'll just add a little bit more water to that.
So is this all just based on what your personal preference is on the cream? You just make decisions yourself?
Yeah, you could not add the garlic in here at all, You could add cumin to it. You could add oregano to it. Like if you're doing an Italian dish. I won't say like a lasagna, but something that you want to have a little creaminess to it. I'm going to add probably a bit of water to it. Just going to break those down. Now you can also soak your cashews. If you soak your cashews, it'll go ahead and make them soft. But since we're just doing this quick demo, you can also use them in their raw form.
So if the cashews absorb water, that means you add less when you start blending it?
Right. You would add less water to it.
Okay.
So it smells really good already. I'm going to just taste it with my tasting spoon. Okay. Dice the garlic. And add a little bit more salt. And with plant-based cooking, you can't mess up. I mean, you know, you can always adjust and do a little something different to it to make it, get it to where you want it to be. You can add more cashews, whatever you want to do to get the right consistency. So with the Vitamix, it's loud, but turning it on about 90 seconds gets it to where everything is smooth.
So I've seen people actually use cashew butter and other things. So if you wanted to just, do people like use cashew butter instead of peanut butter, or?
Yes, they have cashew butter on the market. You could also make it.
Sounds like it'd be a lot more economical to make than to buy.
Yes, yes. So I'm gonna put my gloves on here because this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the creamy component, but since we're doing tacos, I wanted to make a little quick pico de gallo. And so I've got tomato here, onion, and jalapeno. And you can also use some cilantro if you have it, some really good fresh herbs to add to it. Just anything that you like. You can make it a whole salsa. You can make a salsa fresca and put that in the Vitamix as well. So, like I said, you can't really mess up with plant-based cooking. All right. And we're just going to make a little here. You want to dice everything up where it's sort of the same size. Add a little bit more. Temperamental here. And sometimes I use Roma tomatoes. I really like to use Roma tomatoes, but I had these beefsteak tomatoes on the counter, so I'll use them. All right, so we got our tomatoes chopped up. I'm going to do a little bit of onion here. Okay, a little bit more. And then I'm going to use jalapeno. So jalapenos, serranos, anything like that, just give a little bit of heat. Jalapenos aren't as spicy, so we're going to start with them. And just want to get that membrane out and your seeds. And
is that where does the heat lie, in the seeds and the membrane? Is that why you remove that?
Yes, yes. And that's another reason why I put my gloves on, because when you are, a lot of times I will take the seeds and, I mean, like I did it all fancy with the knife here, but at home, I'll just take my thumb and run it through. Well, it will burn the skin under your thumb, and it will stay hot like that for a few days. So I've had to learn that the hard way. So we've got our pico de gallo here, and some people add oil to it at this point. I'm going to get some of our spice blend and add it here, and just toss that in. And you can just use salt, pepper, if you've got onion powder, anything like that that you might like. I'm going to taste it. It smells good. Yeah, a little bit more salt.
So, Chef Kim, we had one of the folks ask a question about your using sea salt. Is that why do you choose to use sea salt as opposed to regular salt?
So it is, I would say the other is fake, but it's real salt. You know, it's like you heard the salt of the earth, and it's better for you than using our iodized salt or something like that. So this Celtic sea salt, which I'm sort of transitioning from Himalayan to Celtic sea salt, it actually is not as potent. So Himalayan sea salt, to me, just seems so salty with your food, but with the Celtic sea salt, it is not as salty. So we've got that good, and we're gonna go over here to our tacos. So these are just some pre-made tortillas that we have. They are sprouted wheat, which is better for your, digest it that easier. And then we've got some walnut meat that we made, and it is raw. So everything here is raw. And just put some of this on. But you could use any type of vegetable. You could use mushrooms, and that would be really good as well. And you've got guacamole. Guacamole would be great. And just put your salsa on top. That looks really good. Two here.
So with that crema, the crema you made, how long will it last refrigerated? I mean, is it something we have to use right away, or is it something that we can have in the refrigerator for a few days?
I would say use it within a couple of days. 2 to 3 days, something like that. Especially if you soak your nuts, it won't last long. So I didn't soak them here, so it could possibly last about 5 days. But when you open that container, you'll be able to tell that it's time to throw it away. So got these tacos here. And now I'm going to get some of our cream and just drizzle some of that on our tacos. Drizzle this on our tacos. Put it on this one as well. It smells really good. All right. And that's that. I will take a bite, but not right now because I got to keep talking. But that looks good.
Well, too bad we can't be there in person to sample it for you.
Yes, that would be great if you all were here. So, like I said, I'm going to turn this into something else. So I'm going to sort of transition and move things aside for a second. And we're going to go to make our cashew or herb sauce. So it's a vegan cheese sauce, and I've got some here already made. But just want to show you really quick how it can be done. All right. So to this, we've got our cashews in here. All right. And then you want to add some pine nuts to this. Okay. So maybe about half a cup, something like that. Looks good. And I'm going to add and squeeze a lemon, some juice from a lemon. Try not to get any seeds. All right. Okay. And we're going to add some fresh dill. Anything dill, that seems strange, but you won't even taste it. It just kind of brings out the flavors. Okay. I think we might have enough water in here already. But you would add water if you were just making it by itself. Okay. We'll do a little bit of chili powder. You could use paprika. I just really like chili powder. Just gives it that little smoky flavor. And also it's great for color. And then turmeric, it's just, again, for color, more so than it being hot and spicy. Okay. And I'm going to add a few more cloves of garlic. And I'm going to wait on the salt. Let's see how that works. Blitz this up.
This is our creamy cheese blend we're working on. We're doing the creamy cheese blend on this one. Is that right, Chef? Is this the herb cheese blend, Chef?
Right. This is the cheese herb cream. I don't really want to call it a sauce,
Okay.
But you can use this like if you're making a raw lasagna or something, or if you're making sandwiches like on a tortilla and you want to use it as a spread. It's really good for that. It's really good. I'm going to add a few more pine nuts. Okay. Break them up a little bit. I'm going to add a lot of water to it. I'm going to scrape the bowl down so we can get everything incorporated. And like I said, it'll tighten up and get thicker as the days go. And this can last. This can last a week or two.
So we have a great question from Pam Bice. She said that if you're allergic to pine nuts, can you substitute another ingredient?
You can, but the flavor of the pine nut is just, you would be missing it. I wonder, is she allergic to nuts as well? Like maybe, is it tree nuts? Is it, I wonder what it is. Like, could she use the cashews, but she just can't have the pine nuts.
Let's see. She was with the cashew cream.
But she can't do the
Oh, she said no, just pine nuts.
Okay. So you can eliminate the pine nuts and just use more cashews. She might have to bump up the herbs. In that case, she might want to add oregano to it as well. Maybe some thyme, something like that. Some rosemary, that's what I'm looking for. A little bit of rosemary would probably be great.
And we had another question, Kim.
Okay.
Ann Hales wanted to know about the raw lasagna. Can you explain the raw lasagna?
So the raw lasagna is not made with pasta noodles. It's made with zucchini noodles. And so you can dehydrate the zucchini. You can cook it in your oven on a very, very, very low setting, which would be probably 3 or 4 hours to sort of dehydrate the zucchini. Or some people have it wet and they just sort of macerate the zucchini with some salt and herbs and spices, and that'll pull the moisture out of the zucchini. You know, you cut it really thinly on a mandolin or something, and then you just layer your things on there from that. And we also do the tomatoes like that too. And there's actually an episode about it on our TV show, Raw Lasagna. So it does the whole steps, tells you how to do it. But you use this cheese in there instead of using your ricotta or whatever you would use in there. But it's got so many herbs in it, it's really good and flavorful. I'm not going to take up forever, but
hey, we had another.
It's there.
We had another question come in asking who should consider shifting to a plant-based diet. What are some of the reasons why you would shift to a plant-based diet?
Now, I want to be, say the right thing, but someone that just wants to have longevity and, maybe if they're dealing with some issues and they want to just change their diet, they, of course, people can, eliminating meat out of the diet, you can lose some weight, of course, doing that. And there are just all sorts of benefits from it. There's so many things that we eat that are plants that, really it's the flavor and seasoning that you're missing from eating meat, but you can also use those same seasonings with a mushroom or with nuts and seeds and get that same mouthfeel, just like this cheese. CHZ is how I like to spell it. But you can do that and not miss meat in your meal, So, but you couldn't do anything but benefit from it. And you think about the animals, like the animals don't eat meat, like a cow doesn't eat meat. A cow is a vegetarian, and so it would be skipping the middleman and eating the vegetables ourselves instead of eating the animal. So I would encourage everybody to try it. You start with a meatless Monday and go up from there. So that is our cream sauce, and I will pour some of this out so you all can see. It's much thicker, and like I said, it gets even thicker. I will try to show it to you. And also, you want to run the Vitamix 90 seconds. I know we didn't do it because I didn't want to kill y'all with that noise for that long, but it'll just make everything, it's just really smooth and creamy, as you can see there. If you can see the difference. But like I said, it'd be good, like if you had a collard green, made a collard green wrap and put it on the collard green and then put tons of veggies inside, that would be delicious. That would be really good. So, all right. So we're going to change out our Vitamix now. We've done a couple of things here, and we're going to use our skillet. Put it in the center with our Induction Burn. Let's see, got it right. Bear with me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. High. And then here's another example of the cheese too. So. Like I got it all on. Clean up a little bit. All right. So we're going to heat up our skillet here. And to this, I've got some vegetables that have already been cut up. And this could be whatever you have left over in your refrigerator. Just little bits of this and that. And so what I have here is just some onions, some zucchini, a little bit of red bell pepper that I had, a little bit of carrots, mushrooms, some cremini mushrooms, and our jalapenos. I like to use a little bit of pepper in foods, and this is like one of those non-stick skillets, so we're not going to have to use any oil. Okay, and we're making a veggie Alfredo. To this, I'm going to go ahead and add some of our spice blend to it. Already smelling good. Transition some of this stuff out. Spread a little bit. I'm gonna just pull the moisture out of the herbs, of the vegetables. Okay. Okay. And I've already got some pasta made, and you can use whatever your favorite pasta is. Doesn't have to be any one specific thing. Put this over. And I'm going to chop up some herbs here. And here we're going to use some store-bought things instead of making our own. So this is a plant-based Parmesan cheese. Okay, that I really like to use. This is a plant-based cream, or you can use almond milk or coconut milk or oat milk, anything like that. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid to this. Add. A lot of people are doing no oil cooking as well. So this is a good way to sort of sweat your vegetables without using oil. Just want to kind of get them to a more tender texture before we add our pasta and start working on our sauce. Okay. And this is, you know, if you have to stick to a recipe and making something like this, you know, you just too much to stress yourself out. So this is just what you have already at your at your exposure. So we've got some oregano here, and this is probably about a tablespoon, I'd say. We're going to chop this up. These are just the oregano, fresh oregano leaves. And you want to try to use oregano, to use fresh herbs whenever you can. So if it calls for sage or thyme or rosemary, just go to the produce section and get some fresh herbs out of one of those little packs. Just as much as you can eat, raw or living food, that is what you want to do. So, and this is also plant-based butter here. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of the plant-based butter to our veggies. Okay. Just kind of melt that in with them. Add more of this. All right.
Tawana, you're muted.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, where did she go?
I'm sorry. I was trying to ask this question. We've got one question that's come in saying, with all these plant-based recipes, have you found a good plant-based recipe for cornbread? Now that one.
Yes. For holidays I do plant-based cornbread dressing, and you cannot tell the difference. My husband can't tell the difference, and he loves it. So, yes. You think about it, you're only replacing two things, and that's the milk and the egg. And so, and what I'm just adding it in and stirring it a little by little. So I'm going to let y'all know what I'm doing. So there's tons of plant-based milks now. I think I heard that, plant-based milks are selling more than dairy these days. If you go to the store, the dairy milk is probably very small compared to all your other options that you have. So, so there's that. And then to replace your egg, you can use there's plant-based eggs, like there's aquafaba, which is the liquid from chickpeas. You can use canned chickpeas, or you can, like when you're cooking the chickpeas yourself, use the water from that. But we use flax egg. We make an egg out of flaxseed, ground flaxseed, and it's delicious. So, and so I'm going to add our pasta in. Just some pre-cooked pasta noodles. This is penne, but if you want to use a long pasta, you can. I love penne pasta. It's my favorite. It's my favorite short pasta. Okay. I'm just adding a little bit. And it's very quick. The sauce is still really creamy. You can add more of the Parmesan to it.
We got lots of questions today. They're asking, is that a whole wheat pasta? What?
So this is a vegan pasta. It's not whole wheat, but you can use a whole wheat. So it doesn't. This one does not have egg in it, which a lot of the regular traditional pastas on the market have. I like how it holds up, but wheat pasta does well also. I'm not in love with the chickpea pasta. I had one and I cannot find it again. The shape of it, everything was great, but I haven't been able to locate it again. but most of the ones that I've tried, I just haven't been a fan of. So I would just say use whatever your favorite pasta is. So I'm going to add the herbs in here, sort of to finish. And then also add a little bit more seasoning. All right. I think that's it. It's a really quick evening dish. Like, you could cook this pasta way ahead of time, and you could either freeze it in several different pouches, or you could like Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer, or you could just have it in your refrigerator for a couple of days. It would probably go bad more than 4 or 5 days, but it's just great to have something handy. You're hungry, you don't want to eat out, and you want to eat something healthy. So put some vegetables on top there. And so you could go to you could have your own restaurant at home. So I'm just going to finish this with a little bit of vegan parm, and then some more fresh herbs. And there's that.
Well, it looks fantastic. Looks fantastic. We're ready to be eating lunch with you.
Okay. And you can use any kind of vegetable. You know, zucchini and mushrooms just have a meaty texture to them. You could even use multiple mushrooms. You could use some shiitake, or some oyster mushrooms would be wonderful in this as well. Or even your portobello. You know, they just tend to turn everything so dark in color, but you know, anything would be great in that. So I hope you all have enjoyed it. Anybody else have any more questions?
Oh, we don't have any coming in, but I can tell you, Chef, we've learned a lot today, and we started with something very simple, and we're able to make multiple recipes using the same base ingredients. I see someone just chumped in, they dropped some cherry tomatoes on top of it. So just
yes, absolutely.
Top it off.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like plant-based cooking. You can't go wrong, and you can't quote unquote mess it up. So
can't, yeah.
You can experiment a lot. Folks,
yeah, there's very low waste too. Like I said, you know, how many times have we gone to the store and bought tons of produce, and then it's going bad and we just chunk it out? No, you can save it. You know, if you've got, you know, a piece of carrot or something, part of it's going bad, the other part isn't, you know, just cut it up, use the good part, you know, cook it in something like this, and eat it. And you can, you know, we're all about saving $1 these days. So yes.
Well, sounds great. Well, we'll be looking forward to our next cooking class on June 25th. Folks, that's going to be Friday, June 25th at 11 o'clock. We'd like to remind you that AARP is empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization with more than 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate on their behalf, all of them. We're going to play a short video of our upcoming events. Remember, Monday is Memorial Day, and we will be honoring the folks who have served our country. Take care.